Hello, it's Joy Olson of BlockBuster Fundraising, our very last week of January 2018. Can you believe it? This month has flown by. And at BlockBuster Fundraising this month, we've tried to really concentrate on about 4 different areas. Number 1, the new tax law. How do you feel like it's going to affect you and your fundraising? And we've thrown a lot of information your way, and hopefully that's helped. And secondly, fundraising planning. We have really concentrated on bringing you some of the best thought leaders in the fundraising biz to get their fundraising plan advice out there to you. And then, of course, we've talked about your tax letters and your thank you communications, because January is, of course, a big roundup of huge gratitude for 2017. Well, even huger gratitude comes up in February, because after all, February is Valentine's Day, and what a fabulous opportunity to really get mushy and let your donors know just how much you love them. It was always my favorite appeal letter, really, of the entire year. So I wanted to, before we go on to February then, which comes up at the end of this week, still can't believe it, I want to just quickly talk about rounding up those goals of yours, okay? I know that first of all, you've looked at 2017. How did it work out? I hope it worked out spectacularly well for you, and I know that the numbers are up in fundraising. So it was a great year to raise money. It was a stressful year for disasters and disaster fundraising. So we have I know all of us are really hoping that 2018 will be a much more peaceful, less stressed, less crises for so many people in our United States and world. But let's talk specifically about your budget and how the year looked and what you're hoping for in 2018, and perhaps raising more dollars is high on your list for 2018. Or maybe you're thinking about new donors. You think, oh my gosh, we didn't get any new donors. What are we going to do? Hopefully you're thinking about your recurring donors and retention and taking good care of them, because I think that's really where it's at. And then a lot of you may have a goal for 2018 for board participation. I don't really hit on board participation a lot in BlockBuster Fundraising, but I wanted to mention Joan Gary. She seems to really concentrate on this, and at the end of the year, I bought her book, and it's all about board fundraising. So if you need really great tips, she has a plethora of board tips for you. I do know one thing about your boards from having been an executive director and a development director. They do need to be participating in your board meetings and your board planning. You need to know what's on their mind, what motivates them, and what they're thinking. I don't think your goals and your mission should be board directed, but you really do need to involve your board and get them in your fundraising channel. If I were your development director, the things that I would probably really be looking forward to in 2018 to concentrate on would be segmentation. I'd really want to make sure that our segmentation was the best it could be. And for some of you, that really may need another customer management system, another CRM, and you need one that personalizes. That would just be a big overriding goal. I would really, if I were your development director, concentrate on monthly giving, making that such a viable, easy, valuable option for your donors. And you'll see how many donors you could get up there when you segment them out and take a good look. I think that if I were your development director for 2018, I would really be looking at giving levels, because all the research shows giving levels work. And when you segment your donors, you have giving levels that are different for each of the different segments. And that's really important, and it's really strategically useful. So let's see, we've talked about segmentation, we've talked about monthly giving, we've talked about giving levels. Something that's extremely important when you are speaking here, it's really what we're talking is upgrading, aren't we? We're talking about really looking at our donors and seeing where we can upgrade. And this is very, very important to concentrate on your mid and major level donors. Move those mid-level donors up to major gifts, because it is so strategically important. And your major gift people, you know that you're going to be spending tons of time with. You've got to be spending great relationship time with them, because it's extremely important. And that is your donor management. So figure out, when you segment your donors and you figure out what your goals are, how are you going to manage your time with your donors to get to your specific goals? If it's monthly giving, how many appeals or emails or in your newsletter, how are you going to make it appealing? What's your theme going to be? Have a theme for monthly giving in 2018. I love themes, and I think they work. And then you can get so creative around a theme and just have your 2018 monthly giving theme out there bright and shining, so it catches a lot of eyeballs. Matching gifts, always be on the lookout. If I were your director of development, I constantly would be on the lookout for a possible major gift. I mean a matching gift, because each appeal or event that you have, a matching gift makes it such a better investment for your donors. So always be on the lookout. If somebody's thinking about giving you a gift and you have a meeting with them, you might say, oh, that would be wonderful if you're considering a gift of that size, and we would love to make it a matching gift. Does that appeal to you? And I think that will definitely appeal to them, and you'll probably get a larger gift. So think about your individual donors, because in my opinion, and a lot of experts out there, and I know I have, the years go so fast. I have at least 23 years of solid experience, and it seems like every thought leader I read their blog, they have at least that. So I think that individual donors is where you should be concentrating in 2018 as a development director. I would. And donor acquisition, you've got to do it, but think about start thinking about it right now, a fabulous Giving Tuesday, peer-to-peer fundraiser that you can use for acquisition. I think Giving Tuesdays is a huge, wonderful place to find new donors. I'd like to tell you why some of the experts feel that some fundraisers are much more successful than others. And number one, they feel that the development director sets absolute goals, and then they have deadlines, and they know who's going to be responsible for what. So you've got to have a goal, and you've got to have a timeline, and you've got to have a deadline. I think it's really important too to think fiscally and check on yourself each quarter. March, June, you get the idea. Where are you? Because sometimes you're not where you need to be, and all of a sudden there's a little change in your fundraising plan for the year. You want to, the most successful, you must not want to. You must concentrate on individual donors, really. It's extremely important for your success to focus on individual donors. And number 3, to be a really successful fundraiser, you want to track your donors. You want to know what's going on, who's doing what, who isn't doing something. Absolutely track your donors, and segmentation is so important. 4th, great fundraisers tell a great story. Have stories that are your go-to, heart-rendering stories. Very, very important for the year. And 5th, get your board, successful fundraisers, get their boards and their volunteers into the fundraising mix. They're important to your fundraising, so you don't ever want to forget them. Up to this point, I've been telling you what I think you should do in 2018, all right? So I read this great blog from Abila, A-B-I-L-A. Do you know them? And anyhow, they came up with some ideas that they thought would be perfect for 2018. They said, this year, instead of predicting exactly what nonprofits will do in 2018, they said, we're going to take a little different approach, and we're going to forecast the trends that nonprofits should be focusing on. Hey, that sounds good. And if you want your nonprofit to be successful and keep pace with the rapid rate of change that's going on, they say you should not only be focusing on these trends, but investing in them as well. Gotta spend some money. I mean, it's like we talk about personalization all the time. If your database won't do it, you need to spend some money or you're going to get way behind the curve on personalization. Okay, here's what ABIA says. Number 1, focus on the online donor journey. Online. Nearly half of millennials, Gen Xers, and boomers prefer to give solely through your website. Okay, and they say it's the gift that keeps on giving in credit card reward points and airline miles and etc. So they like that. They like to give on their credit cards. And because millennials and Gen Xers will eventually overtake baby boomers as the largest givers, it's in your best interest to get ahead of this shift. So you need to be focusing on your online donor journey. They ask, have you walked through the entire journey yourself to see if it's easy, engaging, and intuitive? And you should do that at least once a week. I really do think. Look for glitches. So if you have and you discover that it's less than optimal or has a glitch, you need to make improvements now. Make improvements immediately if there's a glitch. To ensure that your online donors have a positive experience, you can start by reducing the number of necessary clicks to donate. Keep your donation form short. Provide suggested giving amounts so your donors can simply check a box, and show the impact of each of those donation levels. Okay, got that? All right. Now they suggest number 2, what you should be doing in 2018 is find alternative income streams. They say, regardless of how you've earned revenue in the past, you need to find new ways to do so moving forward. Whether income comes in from grants, major gifts, government funding, individual donors, There is no one source that's going to be able to sustain your organization over the long term. Furthermore, relying on just one or two sources of revenue is just asking for trouble. So they say, Abia says, smart nonprofit leaders should continue to explore alternative income streams. And they give some examples. Auctions. Both live and online auctions can be a great way to increase your revenue and supporter engagement and build relationships with local businesses that contribute those amazing products to be auctioned. The important thing about your auctions and events, they do take up a lot of time. So it's tough figuring out your ROI on auctions and events. So you really want to be sure before you start adding a lot more events that you're going to come out way ahead, because when you figure out all the staff time, the volunteer time, etc., 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 I know it can be quite exhausting, and there's probably a lot of you that are planning for your big annual spring event right now, and you know that sometimes you think, oh my gosh, do we want to do this? And then you think, oh my gosh, can we forget that $200,000 extra income? So you'll think it through. They suggest earned income. They say, are there products or services that your organization can provide to generate some more revenue? They give the example of the Easter Seals of Central Texas. They created a lawn care business staffed by their clients. And the program creates jobs for clients and earns revenue, which are unrestricted funds, of course, they mention. And the organization can use this money to increase their services. So it's a possibility. Building or land rental. Have you got some extra office space you're not using? So why not lease it out as another way to generate revenue? Okay, enough about that. Third suggestion for 2018, employ marketing automation. So how would you like to hire an employee who works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and you only have to pay them $100 a month? Well, we all know that would be illegal and impossible, but there are tools available that can accomplish this around-the-clock marketing work, and it's called marketing automation. And it's defined as software that streamlines, automates, and measures marketing tasks and workflows so you can increase your operational efficiency and grow revenue faster. In simpler terms, it's the ability to automatically send emails and communications based on an individual's actions. For example, when supporters sign up for your email list, a system can automatically send them a series of up to 7 emails over the course of 3 weeks to introduce them to your organization, educate them on the impact you're making in the community, and encourage them to take actions to develop a deeper relationship, all without you having to remember to do a thing. This is really why you need to be thinking of budgeting more money for this type of market automation, because there are a lot of nonprofits, 1.6 million nonprofits right now, and a lot of us are going after a lot of the same dollars. So you really have to be ahead of these trends in personalization and this wonderful new welcome packet that you have all put together that automatically goes out to the new donors, or a system set up that automatically keeps all your monthly donors feeling like they're cared about and sending out sweet little stories of what's happening. You can use it in a million different ways. So think about either purchasing or definitely utilizing market automation because this way you're going to be able to create personalized, unique, and segmented communications that are definitely going to drive better engagement, more donors, increase your donation, increase volunteers, and without you spending hours and hours every week doing so. Okay, fourthly, they say that in 2018, you really need to embrace, give it a big hug, responsive website design. So, yeah, you've probably heard for years that your website should be mobile friendly, but now that we've reached the point at which your website must be mobile friendly, there's no more time to wait or excuses to make. And if your website doesn't look great on all devices, the computers, the tablets, the smartphones, etc., you are losing money, period. End of story. More than 3/4 of Americans own smartphones, and just about half also own a tablet, or an e-reader. And they all own tables too. So we are now a multi-device, multi-channel population. And if you're not catering to this population, you're going to be left behind. And furthermore, if your website doesn't look good on your mobile device, on your phone, Google won't show you in the results if someone searches from a mobile device. Did you hear that? Wow. It's like your site doesn't even exist. The single best way to address this is through responsive design, meaning that your website adjusts dynamically to the size of the device viewing it. So whether that's a tablet, phone, monitor, or smartwatch, or whatever new device gets invented next month, your site's going to look good. So go check your website right now on your mobile phone. If it doesn't look amazing, then you need to work with your web team to ensure that it does. Okay, the fifth thing that Abella says to do in 2018 is tighten your website security. Boy, that's really true. That is so true. So when is the last time you thought about the security of your website? If it's been a while or you never have, then you better pay attention, because your donors in Google are sure thinking about it. Google has stated that the number of hacked websites rose 32% last year in 2017, and just about every one of them has been a victim of major security breaches. Yeah, and then a lot of them have to pay a blackmail money to get their site back. So you've got to be aware of a secured website. So because of this, Google and the major web browsers like Chrome and Firefox are upping the stakes to help protect their customers. So how are they doing this? By strongly encouraging all websites to adopt SSL security and make their entire sites HTTPS. So look at the URL of your website right now, and if you don't see https://www, then you need to work with your web team to address this as soon as possible. It's not difficult. I've done it for my two websites, joyolsengroup.com and BlockBusterFundraising.com. And if you come to my sites, you can make sure they're secured. So if your website doesn't currently use an SSL certificate and display the https:// in the address bar, web browsers will tell visitors your connection to this site is not secure. And that sounds very scary in today's day and age. Okay, so in addition to this, all of this, Google may start ranking websites lower if they're not HTTPS. The last thing Google wants to do is to send a visitor to an unsecure site and cause them to get a virus or malware, right? So make sure you tighten up the security on your website right now. Go check right after we finish. And sixth, and one of the most fun and exciting things you can do in 2018, show impact with video. One of the most important things you can do for your donors, your supporters, is show them the impact of their donations. And video is a fantastic way to do that. It's just perfect. Charity Water does an amazing job of this. Check them out. When you donate to Charity Water, the nonprofit lets you know the exact water well your funds are helping to create. And it sends you a video of the well when it's first turned on. Wow! Imagine actually seeing your money being turned into fresh water for an entire village. Well, that's impactful. That's a great idea. Copy it. Do something like that. It's fabulous. Remember, your videos don't have to be expensive or highly produced. I think, in fact, on Facebook, people like more real-looking videos. Those are the ones that go viral. A smartphone can sometimes tell the story in a more real and genuine way, as long as there's a story and donors can see the impact of their donations. They can see what their dollars have done. It's really as simple as that. Okay, seventh idea for 2017 is I say, prepare now for Generation Z. Seems like all anyone wants to talk about these days are millennials. But Abelia points out there's a new generation coming of age and entering the workforce, and it's called Generation Z. This generation, with the oldest in their early 20s, the youngsters, they share many characteristics with the millennials. They're concerned with social good and philanthropy. They're highly tech savvy, and they prefer working in groups. However, in many cases, they're extreme versions of millennials, as they're the first generation truly born in today's digital lifestyle. So many of the predictions above, the mobile responsiveness, the marketing automation, the online transactions are not new or novel to Gen Zers. It's just the way the world turns and works. They expect nothing less. And if you can't meet their digital demands, they're simply going to go elsewhere. So they say, do a better job engaging with Gen Z than you have with the millennials. Start reaching out to them now and asking them what they need, what they're looking for, and how they would like to be involved with your organization. And maybe they can even help you with ideas for the other items on the list. I think that one of the very best pieces of advice you can have is find out about your donors. What do they like? How do they want to be communicated with? The more you know about your donors, the better job you are going to be able to do of building a wonderful relationship. Okay, I hope you've had a great January 2018 and are totally looking forward to the rest of the year. I know we're excited for you here at BlockBuster Fundraising. Check us out on our secured website, either joyolsongroup.com or blockbusterfundraising.com. I think we've got 300 free fundraising video tips on our YouTube BlockBuster channel. We're more vloggers than bloggers around here. So take 10-15 minutes a day and get a little inspiration, because here at BlockBuster, we like to say we're fundraising inspiration right around the corner. Thank you. See you soon. Every Tuesday, 1 p.m., we go live. Happy Valentine's. Well, no, we'll have time next week on Valentine's Day. I hope you're getting a great Valentine's donors letter ready. Okay, bye-bye.